This is the Challenge USA.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Right to Reality podcast. My name is Steven.
And my name is Mixie. We are here to finally recap episode 12, Revenge Amongst the Ruins, and episode 13, the treason for the season for this year's Challenge USA Season 2.
Whoa, that was a mouthful,
It's a lot. There's a lot that we have to go through. I mean, we've been crushing it with All-Star Shore. We had to take a break because we were overwhelmed with content.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, it was that we're overwhelmed with content and not that you guys listen twice as much to the double episodes that you do of the single episodes. So here we are with a double episode for you. And if you disappoint us by not listening to this one as much, I will be very disappointed. Please don't do that.
The numbers don't lie, Steven. So we're giving you what you seem to be enjoying, which is a double episode. Although next episode of the challenge is the final, and it's apparently one episode, and then we're done with the Challenge USA, and then we pick right back the fuck up with the next goddamn challenge.
Oh, man, you guys remember the days when it was like 6 months between shows? This show will never go off the air. It's just not going to go off there. And for some of you, that's great. And for those of you who like listen to the content, it's great. But I think at the end of the Challenge USA, we'll have a special programming announcement that we'll make some things very clear about going forward. So
yes,
I don't want to tease a week ahead of time, but we're already going to do that.
You're going to have to check it out to find out what the fuck is going on.
Got you good. All right.
Yes.
We have a lot of content to get to over the course of these two episodes.
Yes.
I would just like to set out a theme from the beginning of this episode, going into the next episode. I like to refer to these two episodes as time for everyone's bullshit. That's what the title of both of these episodes should have been. I know production was very close to saying that. But there was so many piles of absolute bullshit coming out of people's mouths in these two episodes. It honestly made me ill.
There was multiple times where I was saying to the TV, I don't fucking care. You cannot try to get me to care about these people after they've been on the show. Remember when Polly was on the show? That was this show. I thought about that when I was watching the most recent episode. I was like, Polly was on this. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And he was eliminated by week 5 or 6. This show's been going on forever. You cannot get me invested in people at the end and make me think I care about Josh crying nonstop. We had Desi cried at one point. I mean, it was just I don't care. I don't care. You guys don't have a relationship. And if you did, I never saw it because there was what? What was that? Too many motherfucking people on the show.
Always is. Big problem. Constantly on the show.
I thought you were going to say that the theme for these two episodes was wheels, because for some reason there are wheels. This whole season has been covered in wheels. Why are there so many wheels? I feel like there's going to be wheel things in the final. I'm saying it now. There was wheels in the elimination. There's been wheels in multiple eliminations. Those fucking steering wheels that...
Oh, they're just reusing shit. That's all that's happening, okay? It's not a theme. I can see how you would get confused. But
wheels.
This is just, we have a smaller budget. Can we just reuse the thing that Wes ran on? Can we now turn it sideways and he's got to spin around it? Hey, remember that thing that Wes also used to do spinning? How about we just take that piece out and put it into something else, and we put a sparkler on the end of it?
In the rain.
Challenge USA!
CBS! CBS! Or no, is this MTV? Who knows? I don't care.
CBS!
CBS! Whatever.
The Diet Challenge, that I will be calling it from now here to the future. Feel free to steal it. Challenge USA is the Diet Challenge.
I like that.
And when we get to the end of this episode, having a Diet Hall Brawl, which I'm going to suppress my emotions about right now.
I can't wait for your speech. We'll give you a podium to let the people know. I saw a little bit of it on Twitter, but I feel like you censored yourself there. So take a breather. We got to get through episode 12 first.
I got to step through everyone's bullshit before we get to the end of that.
Let's get into the immediate bullshit that started in episode 12. Desi and Chanel, who I cannot stress enough to you, do not like, cried to fucking Tori about voting her in. Stop. What are you doing?
Please stop.
You have the numbers at this point. For some unknown reason, the three of you have made it to a point where you're good. Also, Michelle, I love you, Michelle. I love you so much. Why did you then say, well, I did kind of lead them on? You didn't vote for Tori. Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You're in the right here. You pulled the ripcord to get out of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that she still got fucking railroaded for all this. Meanwhile, Michaela, for 2 weeks, was trying to throw Tori off a fucking bridge with weights on it. And then everybody else is like, oh, yeah, we shouldn't have done that. That was terrible. I went back against my... What is going on? Bro, oh Jesus Christ.
Steven,
I looked at my note over here and I lost my goddamn mind. I just looked at my note. I looked over here. I quickly read it and then I just went, oh, fuck. I can't believe I got to talk about this. Our girl who somehow won maybe one of the easiest eliminations I have ever seen on the face of the earth, Diet Hall Brawl.
We can't jump to the next episode yet. We're on episode 12.
No. She decides to say in this, she goes to Michelle, who did not vote. We did this because I got to look over here. I'm going to rage fit. We did this because you said you were going to do it, and I did this against my best plans. This was in your best interest, you idiot. What are you talking about? How did anybody buy that? How did Tori buy that?
Tori bought it. All the guys bought it later when Michaela pretty much reiterated it. It did. This whole campaign against Michelle made no fucking sense. And on top of it, it's gonna fuck them. What you talked about a couple weeks ago about how these girls aren't playing long term; they're just playing for this season, and not how it's gonna affect them long term. People are gonna watch this season and not trust a fucking thing Michaela says.
No. And then we'll get to that directly in the next episode.
It's this episode. Fuck Michaela.
I can't believe she decided to put that on camera. Are you telling me that putting Tori into an elimination and potentially getting Tori out of the game before you get to the final is against your best interest? What are your best interests then? Having the person who is probably the strongest female competitor in the last 5 years get to the final and go against you guys, that's in your best interest? Honey, out of the 4 of them, you're number 4. You're number 4 on that list of potential people that can win. And so maybe, I don't know, get rid of one of the other people.
Yep.
That's not directly in your alliance of 3 women.
You guys made an awful deal weeks ago, and for some reason you feel the need to stay attached to that, but then you didn't, but now you're back to staying attached to that. The only person that played this remotely well was Desi, because she won the daily and she proved to Tori with that, like, hey, I could have easily thrown you in, and she probably should have. But I do think Desi is the only one that's playing a long-term game here to not completely fuck herself later in other
probably should have
future seasons. But
she 1,000% should have. You said it a few weeks ago. We were talking to somebody else. You already said the name. Keep saying it. You've already said you would vote for Tori. You literally did it. She knows you voted for her, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You found out that I voted for you. I won't do it again." Scared game. All you people complaining about, "Oh, they're not playing scared game." Blah, blah, blah. Scared game. You said it. You all said it. And now you're going to go, "Oh, Michelle's the bad one here. Let's get Michelle out."
Michaela.
Because she plays both sides. Yeah, that's what usually successful people do on this show.
Fucking Michaela sat there weeks ago with Johnny Bananas being like, "I got you, you got me." And Johnny Bananas like, "I don't stab people in the back, I stab them in the front." And Michaela's like, "I don't stab." What did she do?
Yeah. Stab.
that whole thing, and again, this is going back to what you said a few weeks ago. She is so fucked for the next season she is in.
Let's play this out because this is something we would talk about later, and it makes perfect sense now. So she is fucked for the next couple of seasons, right? Mm-hmm. However, she tried to make the deal there in the next episode, right? That we didn't know about until after that her and Tori made a deal, which is basically a cover your ass move here, right? Mm-hmm. And then at that point, it's like, well, you've already said it again, so why would you do that? So the only thing that makes sense to me there is can you hear the horn outside?
Yes.
Nobody wants your espadas, sir. Keep moving, please. Nobody wants them. I'm keeping this in the edit. Jesus. Nobody wants your espadas, sir. Nobody, move up the street.
I would have one, but not right now. We're podcasting.
I don't want a espada, and I don't want the street corn, okay? They're delicious, but not now. We're talking about the challenge.
It's always time for corn.
I've lost my anger train of thought from the espada guy.
I'm just going to, we'll get to the daily. I really, because we keep talking about Michaela and this whole situation. This whole fight with Michelle in front of everyone, the Michelle down, hilarious, by the way. Hilarious. Amazing.
Oh, it was funny. It was funny. I'll give it that.
But here's the thing about the Michelle down. Michelle owned up, honestly, too much.
Yes.
To what she had done. She could have left some of it for the imagination. She didn't. She put it all out on the table. But she called out Michaela being like, you were the one that planted this seed. Michaela's like, no, I didn't. You look crazy.
I know what you're talking about.
You look insane. She did. She planted it a week beforehand, and Desi and Chanel said no.
Yeah, they were like, no, we just made that deal. She's like, I don't have to hold up to a deal.
And
you guys made the deal.
She's fucking sitting there saying that Michelle isn't being honest.
It's a world-class operation at tomfoolery and tomfuckery. It's doing everything. And if I was Michelle, I would 100% melt down. I'd be like, I'd look at the camera. I would make a whole fucking production out of this. I go, you wait here. You camera people wait right here. I'm going to go get Corey. Because Corey told me what you did. Corey, and I would go out there, and he was apparently just hanging out there, like looking around the corner. And I would bring him in, and I go, what did she say to you? What did she say to you there? Mm-hmm. You had to protect Tori, right? Okay. She did this. Why are we protecting her? She clearly is lying to everyone here. And why am I the scapegoat? How is this my problem? I should be the one that the guys are not putting any votes on over here because I saved your girl Tori. Mm-hmm. What are we doing?
It infuriated me. It was really sad to see Michelle go down this way. I root for her in the next season. I'll see her in 2 weeks. I mean,
2 weeks.
The fuck?
Yeah, 2 weeks. You'll see her in 2 weeks.
Did she even hit New York? Did she just go straight from one to the other?
Mixie, this speaks to the lunacy of where we're at with this show right now, which I still love sometimes. They were like, let's put it right at the end of
Be
this.
in an abusive relationship more.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. We're in an abusive relationship with the challenge, and you know what? That's my fault. It's my fault. The show has done nothing wrong. You know, the show loves me, okay?
Uh-huh. They respect us. And
this is just the way that the show shows love to me, okay?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They decided, okay, let's back end this season to the next one, which we did for the one previous to that, and then the one previous to that, and the one previous to that. So it's just like one continuous
Bing bong.
Human centipede of the challenge, right? And the shit that we had to eat was that Michelle was announced as a cast member on the season where we know
no winners.
All these people are not winners, and we had to go 3 weeks just pretending like Michelle was going to maybe win this season.
Yep. Completely ruined it.
Can you imagine if Michelle got to the fucking final?
I would have been more mad, honestly. I would have.
Why just hide her as a cast member like you did for all the challenge, the world championship? You're like, we'll announce those later after the show here.
Yeah.
Just don't have Michelle in the fucking trailer. It's not hard. I get upset every time because these things aren't hard.
It's not like her picture was great either. It's not like you had to release the photo that she took.
Fucking hell.
Good Lord.
Oh, my God. And here's the thing. We get so into this, and I love it because we get to share our emotions, and I know you guys love our emotions, because I tried to listen to a competing podcast today just for research, and Jesus fucking Christ, I felt like I was listening to an NPR podcast. My God, was this bland. And when you have a giant podcast network that may or may not do a whole bunch of shows, and you just have non-engaging personalities on your podcast? What are we doing? We're not available, okay? We're not available to take over for anybody else. But tell you fucking what, get some engaging people on your podcast. Please. Please. Ugh. Please. Engaging personalities to talk about things when you can't see their faces. So when I'm driving down the 101, avoiding all the people who are changing lanes for traffic, I don't go, no, just hit me and let it end. Just hit me and let it end, because this is horrible to be listening to.
We're going to have so many podcast Apple reviews of us screaming after this episode.
Come at us.
It's deserved. It's deserved.
We can't get you to review for other things, so we're going to get you to review for this. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the daily.
Okay.
Let's move to the daily.
Very important part of the daily, TJ's shirt. Absolute fire. Mr. TJ. Oh my God.
Number one note on the thing here was Mr. TJ's shirt.
Drop the link.
Need it.
Actually, I wrote...
Hold on. I'm going to message him right now.
I wrote, need it. Actually, must have it.
I'm going to message him. I'm going to see if he will allow us to get the shirt. And you know what? Maybe I'll be Mr. TJ for Halloween.
Oh, that would be really nice. BMX Legend Hall of Famer.
Who sometimes handles?
Mister?
Yeah,
you got to get a wedding ring. You got to get the shirt. You got to get the beanie. We love the beanie. A jean jacket with a fur collar. Explosions. Amazing. Screaming by a waterfall.
All of it. All of the things that make him the guy we trust and enjoy. And you know what? Mr. TJ was fired up for this daily. Mr. TJ was so fired up for this daily. When he blew the air horn, Mr. TJ forgot he was not competing because he started running with them and then was like, oh yeah, I'm not competing. He legit was like ran, and I've never seen him like do that at the beginning. I was like, oh, I think he forgot he's not participating in this.
Yeah.
Oh God. I love him so much.
Something has been happening this season, and I don't really think we've given enough credit to it. Have you noticed these drone shots?
Phenomenal. First-person drones. Love it. Love it so much.
I'm loving these drone shots. I don't know where that budget came from. Probably from reusing stuff from the eliminations. They were able to save money to pay for the drone.
They flew a drone operator out there with the money they were saving. Yeah. And also, not a lot of pyro. Our pyro guy from a few years ago... He's gone missing. Yeah,
and the pyro we are getting is pretty small compared to the explosions that used to be happening behind TJ at pretty much every daily and sometimes eliminations.
Those ones were at least controlled. The explosion we had at the end of this elimination where one of the fireworks basically took out a camera and potentially a camera person and maybe some of the people on the risers in the back. Terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yes.
Terrifying. Can you imagine just being there like, oh, they lit the thing and then this bomb basically goes off.
And the fact that they were all saying it was super loud, it had to have been so fucking loud for them to all be commenting on it.
Just absolutely deafening.
But I loved the drone shots, and we got an amazing drone shot of Fessy vomiting becoming last week's.
Oh my God.
Pass of the week. Of the week.
Okay, Mixie, I have to ask you, did he vomit right after the moment where production clearly set him up for failure?
What do you mean?
I think it was because what happened right before that was Fessel said to the camera, right barreled the lens. She's like, you know, I'm pretty strong. I got some good endurance. Vomit immediately.
Ass.
Great.
Ass via drone. Fantastic.
Oh God. Ass via drone is probably, that's probably our first ever ass via drone.
It is probably our first ass via drone, and we love that. Congratulations, Fessy. I know I mentioned it before. Michaela with the backstab to Bananas, and he didn't even realize it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bananas, I know you're old. Come on, man.
Why are we calling him old?
In the scope of the challenge world.
He's old.
He's old.
But if you say, when I say, oh, you're old, I think that means like, I'm thinking that you're a little washed up. And I know people are saying that.
I wouldn't say that. I don't correlate those two
There are
things.
people who are very sure, oh, he lost to Devin. He's done. He's over with. He's washed up. He made it to the final.
Yeah.
If this motherfucker wins this final, everybody's got to take that shit back. Everybody's got to take it back, right?
I'm at the point now where I it's either Bananas or Chris I want to win this final.
I think Chris should win. I'm at the point where I am full rooting for Chris. If Chris was anyone else, think about this. Think about how much love we gave to Olivia and Horacio.
I was thinking Chris is Horacio at this point.
Chris and our girl Cassidy are having what I would say is maybe an equally, if
impressive.
not more impressive season.
Yep. I fully agree with you.
In what, 3 weeks in a row into elimination?
Yeah.
He's won 4 eliminations. And then the only reason he didn't go into more is he won the last 2 individual dailies.
Yep.
He would have gone in on both of those.
Yep. 100%.
The fact that this man is not getting praise from the challenge community.
I give him all the credit in the world.
We are a pro Chris podcast here.
We are.
Maybe we'll try to get the guy on because
I would love to talk to him.
I think he needs to hear it from the community because I don't think there's enough love for this guy. As much as you guys were running for Olivia and running for Horacio, which they deserved.
And we were too.
Yes.
Yes.
Cassidy and him are not getting any of that.
I agree.
And that's fucking crazy.
I agree. I was shitting on Cassidy, but she was really starting to come into her own these last few episodes, and I've been proud of her gameplay. I just want to note for the record, Chanel did not win this daily. Continuing on. So...
Stat of the week.
I just, stat
of the week.
We will continue to drop these little nuggets of knowledge.
What episode is this? Episode
12.
Episode 12. So for the last 11 of 12 episodes, that stat has been correct. She was on one team that won a daily.
Well, she has yet to win an individual daily. And spoiler alert, she didn't do it again next episode. But she's so great. Everybody's so scared of Chanel. God. Okay.
They're scared because of who she's attached to, and I get that. So the one thing that I wrote down here, because I kind of got lost in the madness of what was going on earlier, you were talking about when they had their argument, Michelle and Michaela, when they're back at the house, and she's sitting there eating her pasta, right?
She loves to eat during very important parts of these things.
She seems to, doesn't she?
Yes. Which girl, get that food, but
sure.
Fuck you for being a liar.
I think we're going to try to put the video up right now on YouTube. I just want to reiterate the fact that this woman, while arguing, was trying to spin this little amount of pasta that was on her fork around the fork. It wasn't like a long noodle. It was only like this much left of the noodle that she was trying to spin around. Mm-hmm. Also, just spin the fork. She was trying to like put it up on top, like lift. Just spin the fork,
or
girl.
Stab it. At that point, you just got to go for the stab.
Well, just put it in your mouth. Just take it up. It wasn't like a huge, long ramen noodle or something like that. It was already cut. Just eat the noodle.
She's not a good long-term player. She thinks very immediately and at the current moment, and not what will happen when she reaches the end of her bowl of pasta. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that you really need to think about if you're going to be a long-term successful person in this game, which you've done nothing this season to show that you would like to come back for more of these seasons.
I'm cool with that. I'm totally cool with that.
I think a lot of us are.
Speaking of things that happened, what a good segue. I can't believe that Chris didn't put Fessy in on episode 12. He made up for it the next episode, but what the fuck, man? I like you a lot, but come on. I mean, did Josh deserve to go into elimination at some point? Yes, but come on, man. Josh hadn't done anything to you, and I can't believe I'm defending Josh right now. I won't here in a little bit, but for right now, why the fuck did you put Josh in?
I wrote that down. I had a very strong thought about that. And then I think I figured it out.
Okay, hit me.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think I figured it out. I think by this point, Chris realized it was going to be a women's elimination. And he was like, why am I going to say Fessy's name now if it's not going to go down, right? Maybe if Fessy wins next week, he'll think I didn't put him up this week. And maybe he'll give me another pass and he'll put Bananas in. Because remember, we keep seeing Fessy saying we should put Bananas in. So I think maybe he was like, maybe if I do this, I'll do that. So I think it's one of two things. I don't think he just casually put Josh in. I don't see what benefit to his game that would have been.
don't think he casually did either, but this is an age-old challengeism. You say a name once, you know what's really easy to do? Say that name again. And if they've said your name, you know what's really easy to do? Say their name. Josh, also, like Chanel, never won a daily. So he's never said your name.
He doesn't know what to do. Right. He doesn't know what to do. That's 100% correct. This is where at first we found out Tori and Michaela had made a deal. Tori Deal making a deal. There's a reason her last name is Deal, because she loves to make a deal. She's got lots of deals, lots of friends, which is fine. But then you end up with a situation like World Championship where you have too many deals. Anywho.
Yeah.
This was dumb. This was dumb. Okay? Plain and simple.
Facts.
This was dumb. Okay? Because if the only reason for you to not say Tori's name is not because you just made a deal. It's because you're now thinking about the future, which you already fucked over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You have said her name twice. You have said her name probably 3 weeks in a row that you want her to go in. Now, when you clearly have the ability, you just made a deal. Guess what? You're in the fucking final. Say her fucking name at this point.
Yeah.
Put her in. I mean, saving her for the final? You said a few weeks ago, oh, I don't have to adhere to that deal. It was a week ago. Just don't accept the deal. Go, oh, yeah, well, I want to get to the final. I don't want to go. But this is the problem with these like young people. They're like, oh, I want to go against the best of the best. I don't. I want to win the fucking money.
Yeah.
What are you got something to prove? No.
I would like the money, because you know what would make me feel really good? The money. It would also feel pretty nice to beat somebody that's good, but it would feel better to have some money in my bank account.
And to say that I'm a winner. Because you know what they don't say, unless you go to Reddit and go, well, these people didn't beat the best of the best. It's not like on your title, okay? They don't go, well, they only won against these people. Unless it's us, and unless it's Sarah, and Sarah sucks.
Fuck Sarah.
But
very quickly, I want to call out editors putting banana over the banana.
Yes, nice.
Hilarious. And of course, Michaela, being the party pooper she is, throws the peel away. I mean, just poetic, you know?
Just if you wanted to show somebody, you're like, let me just show you a clip that quickly shows somebody's personality, I would show that clip.
It is. It's exactly. That's so straight up. Just her.
But I thought they were good. I thought they were buddy, right? I thought they weren't going to stab each other in the back. I thought they were all good, right?
You know what I mean? Step. We get to the elimination. Josh says the stupidest thing he said this episode. And he says, and I quote, "The hopper was on my side." My guy, there was one dude in that hopper. The rest of them were chicks. Math was on your side.
Math.
Numbers were on your side. Logic.
It's just math.
It's just maths.
Nothing else to do with anything else. It wasn't on your side. See, that was a confusing quote from Josh. The one that just like tickled me, and I now know at this point, he's retweeted us a couple weeks in a row. He hasn't retweeted our tweet from last night from the episode. I can only imagine he's just staying away from social media at this point.
Yeah, he's taking a step back for sure.
He probably took a really smart, logical step back from social media after last night. Even though a tweet's hilarious. Anywho, this is how I know he's a fan of the number one. This is how I just was like, oh, I thought he was a fan of the number one. But this just really drilled that point in for me. Because he said, all I got to do is stay calm and not lose control, and I'll be good. And I said, oh, start the timer. Start the timer. How long is it till he loses control? And I stopped the timer with 3 minutes and 56 seconds after that line, where he was crying because he did not go in yet. He didn't go in yet. So he started to cry. This man always delivers.
He delivers, but do we like what he's delivering?
Well, that's not what I said.
It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
He does deliver. Now, when the order gets there, I go, this isn't what I ordered. This is just a mush of potatoes.
That cried a bunch.
But
and swore on their grandfather that's dead for no fucking reason. We'll get there.
Wow.
Michaela kept trying to help Cassidy shut the fuck up. Thanks. How did you feel about this elimination?
Why are you saying anything at this point?
I hate her so much.
So Michelle goes home? You know what? Honestly, at this point,
Michelle's a better number for you than
bigger threat. Yeah, Cassidy is the bigger threat. As you're trying to get somebody out who didn't vote for you, Cassidy hasn't been doing that every time.
Also, the person that you said is playing emotionally and that you aren't playing emotionally, what you're doing right now is playing emotionally.
The delusional world that sometimes...
Again, in her own world, would love to visit, would like to know what that feels like.
If you're on TV a lot, you're going to say a lot of things and sometimes they'll contradict each other. However, I feel like maybe you should be aware of the major points that you're talking about and try to keep those in line. Because again, Tori's going to go back and watch this, right? Yeah. And be like, well, I know you made that last deal with me, but you made all these you were trying to get me in and then you said you weren't, so you lied.
Never owned Michelle up to it.
Yeah, you got Michelle out. Also, if I'm Michaela, making that deal and keeping that deal is only good for future seasons, but I'm not going to jump all these other vets that she's got deals with. Mm-hmm. Like, you should have got rid of her. I don't get it. I don't want to get back into it because it'll just make me... You know what? Okay. Right,
let's talk about the elimination. Did you like this elimination?
I don't know.
I agree. I'm indifferent on this elimination. We love an explosion, though. And like you had said, we have been kind of lacking in the explosion category. So that did bring me back. Yeah. It was mid.
After watching the next elimination...
Well, yeah. I mean,
this was better.
Uh-huh.
This is, again, diet challenge eliminations. And I think...
Yeah.
Me, you, and the hotties and everybody listening needs to have that as a precursor marker every time we think about it.
Yeah.
Every time we're like, well, that was a weird daily. It's diet challenge.
The daily was good.
We get an elimination like this, diet challenge. Right?
I will say that the daily this episode was the most challenge-esque, challenge-esque that I've seen in a while. I also wish they had swapped these dailies. This 1,000%. Should have been the last daily.
You're right. That is my next note at the beginning of the next episode.
The hot balloon bullshit. It was cool looking. Again, sometimes they just don't think about how this translates onto TV. Same thing with the let's drive out. I will never forget driving out of the back of these fucking trucks.
Well, it was for.
I got it. It was for the robot. Yeah. Robot Legos or whatever the fuck.
Robot cars with voices.
Yes.
Or whatever we call it.
But I just, the balloons I didn't like. I was indifferent on this, but again, I liked the explosions. I think Michelle is the real winner of this situation because if you saw all of the people that came down to say goodbye to her and hug her goodbye,
all the vets,
are the vets.
And that's kind of what she needed to do this season.
And that's exactly what she needed to do this season. And I think she did a great job with it.
Is a smart lady, and she's not just playing for this season.
Yep, like those.
She's not just playing for this season.
And I also, at the very end, Desi said something that I was like, I really like Desi, but sometimes she says stuff, I'm like, where are you getting this information? She said that Michelle was the most protected player in the game.
I'm sorry, the most protected player in the game is on your alliance.
I disagree with that, too. I think the most protected player in the game is Tori.
Oh. No. Tori's gone in a couple times. They wanted to, if Survivor had the numbers enough times to do it. The most protected player in the game was Chanel.
Oh, actually, I agree with that. Yep.
Because nobody sees her as a threat. Nobody's going to put her in for elimination because they would rather take out the other two strong members of that alliance. And while you still have Cassidy around, they're just going to continue to vote Cassidy and someone else in. She's the most protected person. At the end of this, she has one elimination win and one daily win when she was on a team. She was protected.
These don't count.
No, the team wins don't count.
They don't
There was a post on Instagram. Terrible post. Take it down. I will say, Cassidy was fired up for this elimination, not the one that she loses a little bit later. She was fired up for this. I think she was more dialed in on this one than she's ever been before.
Yes.
And I think she also was potentially a little nervous that this could be the one that could take her out.
I agree. I think that this has been like the first real evenly matched. I think Chris said that too, like evenly matched thing that person that she's gone up against. It was a good fight. I for the two people that were in, I wish it was a different elimination, but I kind of, like you said, it's diet challenge. I seem to be saying that more often than not.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. It was very good. Again, she's not getting the credit she deserves for what she has done on this season.
She's not. I agree. And I wasn't giving her credit in the past, but I will give it to her now. I do think she's playing as best as she can by being this lone soldier right now. Yeah. I wish she had like teamed up with Tori or done some stuff or maybe even pulled Michelle and been like, listen, it's us three versus them three. Let's stop fucking making these deals with them and get them the fuck out. I think that would have really taken it over the edge in my book, but good on her for fighting as long as she fought. I mean, it's impressive.
Also impressive, her makeup for the elimination. Excuse me.
Yeah, she's really pretty.
What a makeup job. We already know she's a gorgeous human being. But it was the I don't know. It was like what's this stuff here? What's the eyeshadow?
Eyeliner?
No.
Where are you pointing?
I'm pointing underneath my eyes because she had like all the glitter and stuff here. I don't know what it's called, but this area looks real nice. Okay,
we're gonna need to do a makeup walkthrough with you.
Whatever. Try to give her a compliment.
Highlight?
Even if you said it, I probably wouldn't know. Okay. All right.
We really need to have a makeup course, me and you. We're going to talk. This is not the first time, and it won't be the last, where we try to talk about makeup, and you just are pointing to things that make no sense.
She had color here, and it was glittery.
Where are you pointing?
Look at the camera. Look at the
camera. You're pointing at your nose. You're pointing at your nose.
I'm feeling where it is. I'm not pointing to the nose.
Okay.
How else should I do it? How else should I do it? Here? Should I do this? Should I take a pen and point to this area right here?
Okay,
underneath the eye?
What you're pointing it to is it's between underneath the eye and your cheekbone. So it could be concealer, it could be highlight, or it could...
There's no way you do not understand what I'm asking you about.
I don't.
No, you're doing this.
I swear, you're going like this. First of all, you're going like this. Are you pointing at your nose? Are you laying your hand where...
multiple times I'm not pointing at my nose. So what else would I be doing? This section right here. Okay. What is this underneath your eyeball?
Are you going like here underneath the eyeball, or are you going here, which is your cheekbone?
I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind.
Episode 13, the treason for the season.
The treason is you not understanding where I was pointing to.
Nobody knows what you're saying right now. Okay, you don't even know. You said if I even said it, you wouldn't know.
But that's not the point. You're trying to be like you're pointing your nose when I'm clearly. How about now? How about now? Do you understand where I'm pointing to now?
No.
How about now? Do you understand where I'm pointing to now?
You're in between two places.
Done. You're done. Moving on.
Okay.
My eye is twitching.
I knew something was happening at the very beginning of this episode because they started the last episode with some Fessy Josh shit, and now we are just piling on to the Fessy Josh friendship. I knew something was going to happen, especially once Fessy's ball was put up. I was like, Joshua.
Really?
Yes.
Did you really?
Yes, they gave a Josh background. That. We got I wrote, "Oop, Josh wants to financially help his family." And then right after that I go, "Oop, Chanel's family information."
These really, I was thinking about this. We're on episode 12, 13 at this point. Y'all know who's getting to the end when you start editing this show.
Yeah.
How about you get me invested in some of these people a little bit earlier? You know who's going to be around, right? So just like give me some of these other people's stories a little bit further back.
Yeah.
And so when it's in this episode, it's not so blatant.
They were doing it just for a few other people. Like the episode before, we saw Desi's family, and I was like, oh, and then she won, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, but we know then that something's going to happen to that person.
Steven, I need to stress this again. Pauly was in this season. Like, that was this season.
It's true. That's true.
Amanda was in this season. I'm realizing this right now.
60 minutes.
Amanda was in it. Remember Amanda?
Still hot.
Still great.
Still a smash, but not with the photo they provided us, which is...
It wasn't the best. There was a point... So they really forced Chanel down our throats this episode.
Mixie, are you going to blow over the fact of what photos they decided to show of Josh and Fessel? Are you really going to... Maybe your brain is just like, nope, can't think about it. I can't think about the fact that they showed Fessy wearing a hat that says daddy on it.
That does not surprise me. Baby Hulk wearing a daddy trucker hat is so on brand.
Still awful.
Awful, but on brand.
If
Fessy's going to do one thing consistently, it's dress like shit. Okay?
It's not even the type of hat. It's the fact that he made a choice to go out in public wearing a hat that says daddy on it. And then I'll take some photographic evidence that this actually happened and I'll give it to the show.
Steven, he voluntarily dresses like the Michelin Man. Okay? What are you expecting from him?
I just somebody's wearing a daddy hat. Really? That's a new fuckboy move. That's a new thing. Dangle cross earring, single dangle cross earring, or a hat or daddy shirt hat that says daddy.
Okay, that's fair.
And the gentleman is not gay.
Huh?
Acceptable.
Oh, yeah.
If he's a gay gentleman, fucking slay.
Yes.
Slay all day.
Yes,
okay?
That's funny. Fessy actually wants you to call him daddy.
Yeah,
and that's disgusting.
Awful.
The worst.
Awful.
Speaking of the worst, Chanel says, and I quote, "The girlies on Reddit might have called me a flop." Hi, Chanel. The girly on The Right Reality is also calling you a flop. You have not done a fucking thing that has impressed me slightly.
Some people might say you're mid, right? I'm not going to call you mid because you still need to get up a little bit to be mid.
She's not even at mid. She sucks.
She's below mid.
She is a coattail rider. She does absolutely nothing. This whole they were forcing her to basically narrate this entire episode, and when she wasn't narrating, fucking Josh was. For how great this whole friend battle at the end, this whole thing, and then throwing bananas in, all of that stuff. For how good this episode could have been. You guys picked Chanel and Josh to fucking narrate us through it. Really?
Yeah, we didn't need that, and it's because of the choices made at the earlier in the season of when these are the people who are winning the eliminations or involved in the eliminations. You make them drive the car. When you have somebody like Bananas, who I don't think said one word on the camera last episode, comes back and says a few things this week.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. I didn't need to know she went off in the middle of Survivor. I could have fucking guessed that. Okay? Thanks a lot. Right? But then I'm also like,
we got so many clips of her on
Survivor
episode. I don't think we've seen that many clips of anyone on a past show. Because you wanna know why? Because the things she's doing on this season are so fucking boring and giving absolutely zero that we have to show clips of her in her past fucking show where she also gave nothing according to what they're showing us, and the girlies on Reddit are saying flop city.
So it brings me to my point with all of that is how she got put on this show.
Yeah.
Right? Because like the idea is you're going to go get dynamic people from these other shows. Mm-hmm. I get what, like Michelle makes sense. She won. Mm-hmm. Chris won his season, right? Desi, big deal, right?
Also stunning. And had the pageant background. Like she's got some layers to her.
She's got a great story. She was on the last one. Mm-hmm. I get it when you had all of them. Mm-hmm. And then out of the blue, you go get somebody who finished in the middle of the pack that everybody online says was mid. The only thing I can think of is as they're building this roster, there's usually some layups that are at the bottom, just like fish food. There's some mid-tier people, and there's your upper-tier people, and that's how they kind of have to fill out the thing, which is stupid.
Yeah, give us all good people. What are you doing?
What are you doing? Even your all-stars are not all-stars. Yeah. You know this. Mm-hmm. Change the show name. They're not all-stars. I hate that term because they're not. Anyway.
Agreed.
Where's All-Stars 4? Where's All-Stars 4? You're not getting it for a while. Continue to sit tight.
Don't worry, guys. We'll have absolutely no break. I'm sure it'll come soon enough.
Yeah, they'll just put it like on it.
Yeah,
like
it's just gonna
Christmas
slam
Day
right after.
Like
yeah, absolutely. Let's get into the daily. Mid again, diet challenge. Challenge. And the same thing as always. If you just added a little bit of extra something, right?
Something.
Had him shoot some like soft, like fucking tennis balls at him.
Yeah.
You know?
Right? Yeah.
Something.
They're attached to the thing, right?
Yeah, they're fine.
Give them some water hoses to shoot at them. Give them some like little balls. Mm-hmm. Put one person at the top just dropping tomatoes on them. Something.
Yeah.
And if they fall off that, they're DQ'd. Because all this is, can you climb up a ladder and walk across the balance beam where you're pretty secure? You know what would have been the great thing for the balance beam is you had a bungee cord on. Because if you fell, you probably weren't going to go too far, and everybody understood that. Mm-hmm. There was really no thing for that. But if you fell, especially for somebody who's afraid of heights, which is also bullshit that she got to sit up there and like go,
Steven.
okay,
Steven.
Okay, now I'm ready to go. Okay, now we'll start your timer when you're out on the balance beam.
Situation.
I get that they had to time them going up. They stopped the time there. Okay, now we're getting both of you in the basket. We're going to put one of you out because you can't do two at the same time. I get that. But once she's out there, as soon as both of her feet touch that beam and she turns around, the timer should have fucking began.
I agree.
I'm supposed to believe the person who was crying in the basket and took forever to stumble out there was the fastest person in all of this.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I have the same note. I did not think it was fair.
I know she beasted it up the thing, but that's like... I don't know.
I am in full agreement with you. I did not like that at all. You know what I did like is they had some cameramen in the hot air balloon. And especially when they were, getting out of the basket and starting on the balance beam and then they had to go.
Yeah. Oh.
Shout out to the hot air balloon cameraman shooting out of the basket directly down at Cassidy's ass, crowning her with this week. Ass of the week. Of the week. She deserved
eliminated,
it.
But ass of the week.
It was a full blown ass shot. Yeah. They were just shooting down at her ass as she walked across the beep.
Cakes all day. There was a photo on the challenge posted of just her and Tori hanging out, butts out.
Yeah, it was nice. That was a nice.
Somebody posted it in the Hotties. I mean, do your thing, baby girl.
Yep.
Do your thing respectfully. With your consent.
Do your thing.
Yeah. Do your thing. You're a strong, independent woman. You get to do that for yourself.
We love to see it.
This daily, considering again
where we are,
whoever wins this is safe from a double elimination and gets to the final.
Yep.
Should not be climbing up to a hot air balloon and walking across a balance beam that is
with no real obstacle of any kind.
No. There's nobody yelling at you. There's nobody throwing stuff at you. No. Not the right move for this point in the show.
They needed to swap them. They needed to swap them from last week.
It needed to swap. Everything at the end should be progressively getting harder as the show goes.
There's no consistency of that in this season. None of it.
I don't know what has to happen for those ideas to get through to the right people, that as viewers of the show, there's things we understand.
Yeah.
I understand that you have planned all of these out before you even arrived in this country.
Yes, because they have to get made and shit.
You've sat around a table with other people and discussed this, and there's nobody there with the little sign in front of their chair that is challenged fandom community member who would go, excuse me, you're going to do a double elimination and all they got to do is go up a ladder and cross a beam and then they get to the final. That's what you're going to do?
I mean, I agree. It doesn't make any sense.
That person needs to start getting in the room.
Yep.
One of these producers needs to be the fan support because we're losing it here.
Yep.
We're transitioning more to your Survivor shit.
We'll do it for free.
But you already have that show. I'd like to keep our show.
Yeah,
keep the show over here.
I couldn't agree more. It was not thought out. Speaking of things that are not thought out, Josh says, and I quote, "If I slip and fall, I basically lose today." You don't basically lose. You do lose. That is literally, this man says some of this shit. I just don't.
Great. He delivers, Mixie.
He delivers nothing that I want.
He still delivers, though.
It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno.
No free press. Okay? No free brand deals.
Nobody wants to be associated with Josh. They wouldn't take that one. They wouldn't take that one. I was happy for Chris. He got that dub with his little flower in his hair. Did you see his little flower?
Move from Chris.
Cute. Happy
Again,
for him.
really strong performance this season from him. No matter what he does in the final, an incredibly strong performance for Chris. I'm rooting for Chris. I am full in on Chris being my victor.
I agree.
Maybe at the end we will rank who we want to win, top to bottom on each of the sides. Okay. I think you guys might know where we're heading.
It's going to be a tough bottom. I don't know who's going to reach the bottom for me. It's going to be tough.
It might be tough. I was really excited to see Chris get that. I did a little let's go. And then this is where we found out that little deal was made, because this show always has a really good way of noticing when I'm on a high and then just pulling that fucking rug out from underneath me.
Yeah.
Let me hit my face and go, oh, of course they were going to do this to me. This is where we found out that reverse deal, which again makes no sense. You've already said her name. Say it again. You're not going to get into the final. That was your argument for throwing her out weeks ago, was you didn't want to go against her in the final. You didn't have to make the deal, so just do it again.
Yep.
So this is where Chris got his mind right and he goes, I'm going to put Fessel in. I'm going to put Fessel in. I think this is what he wanted. I think he wanted Fessel and Bananas, and I think he thought to himself, the easiest way to get both of these is to put Fessel in first, right?
Yeah, I think that is the best move out of the two, because I think if Bananas was their main vote, I think Baby Hulk had more people that he could have rallied to save himself from the vote, whereas Bananas, as we saw, really didn't have as much. So I think there was more likelihood of him having gotten the Banana Fessy than if he had put Banana in as the main vote. I just, I wish that this episode had been half the time. If we cut out all of the time that Josh cried, it would have been a 25-minute episode.
It would have. Do you think they would have started the final if that went a different way?
I think they could have cut a lot of it and started the final. Yeah, I mean, it was a 2-day final. I think this final episode's going to be kind of like, we're going to miss a lot of stuff, which we keep complaining about. Yeah. They definitely have other checkpoints that they don't show us, and this is going to happen again.
I think if they had a lot of stuff to show us, we might have started it in this one. I will say, I enjoyed this episode. Just on
all
the front
of Josh crying?
Even with Josh crying, because we hadn't got it yet. And as part of a challenge season, I expect to have some of that. Because for some reason, they were like, we're going to take the Fessel and Josh fight out. That clearly happened in the house that we showed in the trailer. We're going to take that out because we're crazy and we're dumb. And we'll put it in a trailer and sell you on it, and then it doesn't happen, and then there'll be no explanation for why this happened, and nobody will come on a podcast and defend their actions. Mm-hmm. Nobody will do any interviews and defend their actions. Mm-hmm. You'll just stay in your little cocoon. You don't have to answer for anything you do, but we'll greatly accept you here on The Right Reality, and we'll ask you some great questions.
Yeah.
You'll have a chance to defend yourself. Like, come on our forum. We'll talk about it. We won't be too big of a dicks.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to hold you accountable. You're not doing it to yourself at this point, right?
Nope.
But I didn't mind it because in classic Josh fashion, he promised on the life of his dead grandmother or grandfather. Not needed.
Unprovoked. For no reason.
Even Bananas is like, you don't got to vote for yourself. Why would you vote for yourself? What a dumb move.
Just vote for Corey. You owe Corey nothing.
You owe Corey nothing. Oh, but I owe Fessy. Fessy doesn't want Corey. Which brings me to another question for you, Mixie. Oh, you already know where I'm going.
Go ahead.
Why did Fessel want Bananas and not Corey? Because I know there's two explanations for this. I would like to hear what you have to say.
Fessy knew it was a hall brawl. He was saying before the daily that it was a hall brawl.
I think he was pretty sure with a shadow of a doubt. I think
he got tipped off by somebody in production that there was a hall brawl inbound. Or he maybe said something to production, was like, I can't believe there's not a hall brawl. And they were like, well...
Oh!
Even if it was like halfway through the season, they were like, maybe there will be one. I mean...
You know, we had one at the end of last season of All-Star or USA.
Yep.
Just saying.
I think he knew it was a hall brawl. And
well, then you answered my question.
Yeah.
I thought he was not afraid of anybody. I thought he was willing to do anything and everything. I'm the big guy. At that point, who gives a fuck, right? If you were a former football player, who gives a shit? Bring on anybody. I'll take on two of you, right? Mm-hmm. If this is your persona, I don't care who it is.
I agree with you on that, but I think that, again, Baby Hulk is looking at this and being like, the final is inbound. I want an easy dub.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think Josh was the easiest dub out of all of them. But,
right, but he wouldn't do that. Then say that. Don't try. Like, Corey's your boy. Okay. You know what I haven't seen?
Yeah, while they're showing Corey, like, fucking yoked as shit, fucking curling these dumbbells. I was like, God damn.
I do love how they go, oh, you know, we're really good friends off camera. Show me some sort of connection before we get to this point. Because wasn't there a part of this season where Corey threw grenades at the group that he said he was on the outsides of?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm supposed to believe that they're boys now when that happened?
So dumb.
No.
Also, when they were saying that about talking about their history, they were showing Josh and Baby Hulk's fight on Spies, Lies, and Allies that got, I think, Fessy kicked off the show, yeah?
1,000% got him kicked off the show.
What great friends.
Great friends who fight all the time and then wear a daddy hat when they're hanging out with each other. Because I sometimes get in fisticuffs with my friends. You know, just really good screaming matches right in their face on national television. And I had another one apparently a few weeks ago that got cut from us.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder what the fight was about, though, and if there's a way for them to edit around to not show the fight, right? Because if it was some like real deep stuff, could you just edit around that? You know what I mean? Like, you could show that in a trailer and not like tell us what the argument was about. But if they're like yelling at each other, you're fucking fake, and just whatever they are saying to each other, that might show them at a bad light, and they would not be able to kind of put that out, especially with them doing this again before. People would be like, don't have these people together on a show.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been their second like big blow up, so I could
that
see
would have
that.
been problematic. Yeah,
I mean, Banana spoke for all of us when he was just like, "Enough, Josh, just enough,
enough
dude.
crying, enough crying." It's
just Josh being Josh. You know, you said that he is delivering. Do I think he's delivering anything good? No, but he is delivering. I want to talk about this fucking Hall Brawl. Actually, okay. I want you to talk about this fucking Hall Brawl. The floor is yours.
I want to set this up very quickly, and then we'll move to the end. Josh was down very deep having to make that selection.
Yes.
Mixie, I know this is going to be incredibly difficult for you because you're an athlete, number one.
I invented athleticism, yeah.
Put yourself in Josh's shoes. Who do you pick?
Who do I pick?
Yeah.
Corey.
You pick Corey.
Yeah. I would have said exactly what you said, which was, you said you're not scared of anybody.
Wow. I would have picked Johnny.
He is saying that his alliances, the thing that's so funny to me is that Josh sat there and he was like, I'm finally looking out for myself in this game. You're not. You're fucking your alliance with Bananas.
But it's the end. This is what happened. This is the Bananas and Sarah thing. This is, if you're going to do it, this is when you do it. He already fucked Wes over, right? So why am I trusting this guy anyway? I haven't seen him and Bananas become friends on the show, so I'm not buying into any of that, really, that happened off the show.
Corey
right?
nothing.
He owes Corey himself nothing, except for the fact that Fessy didn't want him. But that's a Fessy problem, not a Josh problem. However, if your reasoning for getting rid of Wes is you're going to beat all of us if you get to the final, to me, that's the argument for putting in Bananas, and it's just that simple.
Yes, and I agree with you on that point. But that
requires logic, and we're trying to be in Josh's shoes.
But I am Josh in this situation. I don't think Josh would have made it to the. I don't think we saw a lot of it, but the way Josh talked about his relationship with Bananas, and even Fessy said it. Yeah, I think Bananas coached him through this season.
Okay.
This is the farthest Josh has gotten.
Okay.
And I think Bananas coached him through the season, and he owed that to Bananas. Because, again, he owed Corey nothing, and Fessy says he's not scared of anybody.
Yes, and you're 100% right. It's not like you were putting in Fessy or Bananas. It was you're putting in somebody who Fessy kind of didn't want to go against, but if you're not afraid, if you think you can beat anybody in Hall Brawl, which you think it is, take Corey. He was just afraid of losing to Corey. You think you could beat Bananas. Just say that.
If I was me, I would have done Corey. If I was Josh, I think Josh, honestly, because he is Josh, should have voted himself. He said he was going to do it.
Yeah, because it's not guaranteeing yourself would have actually gone in. Yeah.
Yeah, and he already went in anyways.
Quickly before we get to the end there, who do you think was the other vote for Josh? Because there's one other person. So your options are going to be Tori already voted for him, which is hilarious, by the way. Cassidy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Cassidy, too.
Cassidy.
Because Desi and what's her name would have voted together.
Yep.
So
and Michaela. Yeah. Oh, well, she couldn't vote.
She couldn't vote. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Go ahead. With your Hall Brawl speech.
Just Tori sliding into that conversation. I voted for you just so quickly. She's like, "Oh, I voted for you." But yeah, no need to cry. Well, and then Bananas being like, "What are you guys doing?" I made deals with all these other people, which is the complaint against Tori, right?
Yep, she does.
Like that's the big number one argument. She has too many friends, and it becomes problems. But you know what? It's fucking working for her. So say what you want. just like Fessy's little scheme here at the end to just run back and go back, and just say increasing numbers.
I wrote it down. I said, why wouldn't you just stand on that platform and say numbers?
I think they said you have to go back.
Fine. And I would have done exactly what he did.
Yeah, me too. To get to the final?
You would have looked at it for a second, and you would have a general idea. Of...
And you would have tried to hear what the other person said.
Uh-huh.
The girls were quiet at first. Do you think they went first or second? I think they went second.
You think the girls went second?
No, they had to go first because the girls would have done the same
Cassidy was standing off on the side, and Chanel was back up at the top, so I think the girls went first.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
Go ahead.
Hall brawl, diet hall brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Why diminish Hall Brawl's name by doing this to Hall Brawl? You don't need it at this point. You didn't have a Hall Brawl. You had a glorified pillow fight. You ran into each other with the pat. When I heard that, nearly lost my mind that I was diet challenge.
Yep.
They run at each other. They fight for a while, and they get out, and then you solve a puzzle where you have to name how many squares. By the way, I don't think they said what you have to do, that it was squares.
They didn't. I kept looking at what is the point of this puzzle? What are they solving?
Now, maybe they fixed that after the screener went out, but...
No, they didn't. I didn't watch the screener.
And they didn't say it?
No. He just said you needed to solve the puzzle, and then they pulled the curtain, and Chanel was like, "Oh, this is my favorite puzzle. It's where you count the squares." And I was like,
"Okay." I started counting all the rectangles, all the boxes. So when she went 4, I literally pissed myself because I was like, "Girl, there's easily 16. What the fuck, 4?" And then it was like, because then she got it right. It was like 6, and then they showed squares. I was like, "Oh, it was fucking squares." So that's 2 strikes.
Yeah.
2 strikes. Let's go back to the Hall Brawl portion. Why have it? Why is it there?
And
you got nothing for getting out of there first. You got to go look at a puzzle quicker.
For like maybe a second quicker. And also you got to discard the pads after the initial hit. Like, what are we doing?
Why? Why have it? Somebody needs to be in that room and go, guys, we don't need to do this.
I think it has to be like a security, like a safety thing.
No, but don't have the Hall Brawl with the pads, but then just have the Hall Brawl with the pads.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's over. I hit the mic. I'm so upset. Then it's over. It's over. First one out, it's over.
Yeah.
Then don't have the puzzle. Why do you have it? There's no reason to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
If you got out and they said, okay, Josh got out first or Fessel got out first, you now get a 5-second start by looking at the puzzle.
Yep.
A 10-second start by looking at the puzzle. You get to guess first. You get 2 guesses before the other person gets a guess.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's some stakes, right?
Yeah.
Because we're building a TV show, and TV shows are about stakes.
Mm-hmm.
There was no stakes for Hall Brawl. They ran into each other. It didn't fucking matter. Why have it?
They needed to have it to say that they had the Hall Brawl, even though it's Diet Hall Brawl. The challenge fandom needs the Hall Brawl, but nobody wanted it this way. I would have rather not had one. It just...
Hotties. Go to the page. Would you have preferred not to have a Hall Brawl or have this? Because I guarantee you, again, if me and Mixie are in that room, a challenge fan is in that room when these decisions are being made, I'd go, hey guys, I'd rather not have it. Is there some sort of like Hall Brawl PR company I'm not aware of that is like making us do this?
Yeah.
It's just like contractually obligated to do this? Because don't have it. Don't have it. And then to even sully it more, it's like, oh, just figure out the squares and then go name them. And then you're in the final.
Yeah.
After all these other ones we've had, this is it to go to the final?
Yep. I agree. I agree with you. It was upsetting. But again, in the same way, I was just like, it's the Challenge USA. It's not
Diet
the challenge. Yep.
Diet challenge.
And then that was the end of the episode.
They didn't start the final. Gutted that Cassidy lost. I was like, fucking, this is how Chanel's going to say that she won an elimination?
Lost. So upset Cassidy lost.
On counting squares?
Classic that Josh lost, though. Classic.
It was classic that he got put in. Let's not overstate that.
The whole thing was just so poetic.
Let's not overstate that fact that we thought for sure Johnny Banana's name came out of that bunny.
Yeah.
And I bet you there's a lot of people who are like, hey, you guys aren't heading to the corner for that?
Yeah, I mean...
I'm not. I buy it.
According to the law, they can't do it.
I buy it. I buy that Josh's name came out of there. Because eventually, sure, there's going to be enough of the smaller ones for that to actually happen.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a ton of balls. Even though Bananas had a majority, there still wasn't a ton in there.
And if your conspiracy is, they wanted Bananas in the final, I think the bigger thing that they would want is Josh versus Fessel. Mm-hmm. And I know you're going to be like, well, that's what they got. They could have been Corey.
It would have been a whole fucking final of it.
That's the point, right? Mm-hmm. You could have had, are these two going to help each other? Yep. Which one of the buddies are going to get there? It's these two guys and Chris and Corey. We're going to have a new champion. Like, at this point, they don't care. It's the last episode. Bananas didn't go out episode 2. They've already paid him through all these episodes anyway. It doesn't matter for them. Uh-huh. The better story is Josh going against Fessel after all that. That's the better story.
I agree.
Absolutely wild situation that he went. And Bananas just fell to the ground. Big exhale. Mm-hmm. He was thanking all the gods in the world that he did not get put in.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. It was exciting. I am looking forward to the final. I think it's a good group other than Chanel. I think it's talented people that deserve to be there. Okay. I would say personally, I'd like a Chris Desi win. Okay. My order would be for the girls, Desi, Tori, Michaela, Chanel.
Okay, for the guys?
And for the guys, it would be Chris Bananas, Corey, Fessy, just because I think it's so funny if Fessy continues to not have a title.
But continues to come in last in finals as well. My vote is the same for you for the men. I think Chris is getting a hero edit at this point. I think
we would have known more about Chris a lot earlier.
This man is built for this show. He should be on the flagship.
I agree.
He wins, he should go on the flagship.
Couldn't agree more.
Right? Mm-hmm. On the ladies' side, I might flip Desi and Tori.
You want Tori to get another dub?
I'm fine with Tori getting another dub at this point.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
I still feel bad for Desi's run on season 1.
Yeah. But at this point, it's all on her.
So well that I mean, she didn't touch sand.
She was in a boat. Yeah. I would be fine if you switch those top two. Mm-hmm. The bottom two are correct.
Chanel
the bottom two are correct.
Oh my god.
Both of. I know it's like, she's won a bunch of days. It's just, I'm sorry, guys. I don't find her likable. I don't find any of those other two. Yeah, Michaela or Chanel. I just don't find them likable, and I kind of want that in somebody I'm rooting for to win a final. I don't care what else you've won. I'm not invested in you. Like we said before, like Michaela's been very like monotone during all this. There's nothing other than her being scared of heights that I find myself rooting for with her. You know what I mean?
I don't even root for her with the scared of heights thing because they kind of
no, but that would be the only thing I could because I don't know anything else about her other than she made a list.
The list. I agree. We'll see. I think it'll be an exciting final. Do we know if it's going to be long? Like an extra half hour or something?
I don't think so, which concerns me that they're going to try to throw all this into an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not another great final. But ours last season was, an hour as well? And we saw quite a bit of stuff, but they did cut stuff out. I think it's fine that some stuff gets cut out if it doesn't change the overall thing that makes them tired. Like, we're going to make you canoe for 16 days. But, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. It'll be very interesting to talk to you guys next week, which we will see you very soon for that. Mm-hmm. We'll have a special programming announcement at the end of that one as well. Stick around for that. We love you. Please check out All Star Shore, and we'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.
Bye.